Lana 2 Children of the Leaf is finally here. And as expected, it kind of led me on an emotional roller coaster. I actually got the chance to play this a little early, so big thank you to everyone at Wishfully and Thunderful for the review key. Let me start by saying I loved this game. One of the things that I enjoy most in the gaming universe are when people get really creative with the narrative exploration in a game. Something that both Planet of Lana games do really well is let the audience interpret the narrative as they play. There's actually a disclaimer in place when you start up the game that tells you this. I think that this not only shows confidence and faith in your player base, but also in your storytelling capabilities. Even though every word spoken is in a made-up language, the tones, music, and environmental tells just blend together so you can essentially infer everything that is happening around you. I definitely feel the frustration, the happiness, and all of the other emotions as Lana and Mui continue their journey of discovery on Novo. Right from the beginning, I enjoyed it. Following Anwa and helping her over paths just felt very nostalgic for me. Not in the sense of the game's familiarity, but the fact that, I'm a big sister and I remember going on adventures with kids younger than me, and it evoked those same types of feelings. This sequel doesn't really waste any time giving you a feel for both Lana and Mui's abilities and how they work together. I love the puzzles that require you to use both characters. It feels like it's tapping into just enough difficulty and creativity to make you feel really accomplished when you figure it out. There are new mechanics that have been introduced, and old abilities have been refined and expanded upon, with Children of the Leaf offering a wider array of those physics-based puzzles. And there are some puzzles that are more challenging than others, but I found most to be around a comfortable difficulty level. Honestly, the slight frustration I felt in puzzle situations primarily arose from feeling like things were just a little slow. Almost like Lana got tired halfway through and I was frantically hitting A to jump faster. I do, however, enjoy how forgiving everything is. I spent a few minutes experimenting to make sure I understood the solution to a puzzle since I was controlling other creatures through Mui and also making sure Lana was safe while doing so. And it took a couple trial and error sessions for me. Honestly, with those minor pain points of just sluggishness, and they are very minor, there's nothing to really complain about. There weren't any major frustrations that I sometimes feel in other games by maybe repeatedly dying, and I think that has to do a lot with the game's presentation. Even though there is definitely a threat, defeat doesn't feel as punishing in this game. That could have a lot to do with the beauty in the game. It is a gorgeous game, whether you're underwater or running through a lush forest. The musical score in this game is, in my opinion, basically perfect, which is exactly how I felt in the first game. It lifts everything up just so nicely, and it really lends emotional substance to something that is absent of any dialogue, or at least one we can understand. The design of every aspect in the game is a big part of the storytelling. You can tell when people are excited, surprised, afraid, and all of those things are amplified by the music. Even though Children of the Leaf is a sequel, if you haven't yet played the first game, you're not always going to feel like you're just catching up. Wishfully does a fantastic job with continuing the vision of the first game without leaving things behind. You can easily infer everything that happened before, and you can also see the effects of that in the present game. While you can see the remnants of the first game's events around you, the sequel contends with diving deeper into the mysteries of the planet Novo, offering more insight into the past and also moving into new conflicts and new mysteries and secrets. I was a little bit worried that it would eventually dive into the overall narrative direction of humans are terrible and destroying the planet, but instead it just kind of presented the harshness of mankind as a neutral, albeit true, statement. It is a fact that is present in the game, but it isn't a primary focus that overtakes every other aspect of the narrative. I really enjoy this genre of interpretive storytelling in gameplay. I loved Limbo and Little Nightmares for the same reason, and while this is obviously a different vein, they're all great because they give you just enough information while also leaving you to draw your own conclusions. You feel connected in multiple ways, and I love all of the characters in Planet of Lana 2. I feel the hurt and anger when Lana and her older sibling fight. I feel the concern and sadness from Mui, even though since it's like a cat, they really only chirp and purr. everything blends together in an incredibly well-paced adventure. I was engaged basically the whole time I played. Nothing felt too challenging or frustrating or too slow or boring. Everything is just handled very well, very artistically, with a lot of intentional design decisions. If you like side-scrollers, if you like cinematic adventure games, if you like an emotional sci-fi saga, and obviously if you liked the first one, I highly recommend you play this. It expands on the first game in a way that isn't excessive. It just adds stronger spokes to the wheel rather than reinventing it. I know that we're early into the year still, but this is definitely one of my favorite games of 2026. As always, I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you think of the game down in the comments below, and I will see you all in the next video.